Today we are playing with nail vinyls. What's up my nerdy chicks, I hope you are having an amazing day and welcome to NerdyNails. Now in today's video I'm going to show you how to use nail vinyls. So what are they, how do you use them, and how do you get the best looking manicure from using nail vinyls. So stay tuned as that's what I'm going to show you today. Just before we begin, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who have subscribed, as we are over 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. It's really cool actually. I never really thought this was going to happen, so thank you so much for joining the Nerdy Chick family, and the best is yet to come. I do plan on doing a giveaway for this, so stay tuned for that. But just a big thank you to the bottom of my heart, and I hope you enjoy some of the more upcoming nail art ideas I have to plan for the future. But let's jump into today's nail vinyl tutorial. So first things first, what are nail vinyls? They are just little stickers or decals where they just have a design and you just sit them on the nail and apply nail polish on top, and the template of the design that is on the sticker will transfer to your nails. They come in many different shapes and designs. You can get nail vinyls that have lots of lines and different size lines, so you can create some cool line nail art with them. You can also get vinyls that are just simple ones that have got some funky lines or some triangles and some heart shaped vinyls. And you can also get these cool holographic nail vinyls where they pretty much come with any shape or design you can think of. So they're a really cool way to get a really kind of more funky, more of a complex style onto your nails that would be a bit more challenging to do it freehand, or also just very time consuming. So nail vinyls are a great way to have a funky design on your nail that doesn't take too long to make. And that's pretty much what a nail vinyl is. There's so many more different versions out there, but those are the main types of vinyls that you can find out there. They're really easy to use. The biggest thing for nail vinyls is there's certain steps you need to follow to make sure you get a great looking vinyl at the end of the design. If you don't follow these upcoming steps, you will have a gloopy mess like this, and I'm going to show you how to avoid it so your nails aren't looking like this. So these are some really useful tools when it comes to creating nail vinyls. So you really going to want some tweezers, a makeup sponge, and most importantly you're going to want a quick dry top coat. Against anything of all the items I've said, this is really important to have one of these, as this will be a game changer when it comes to creating vinyl designs. I find Sally Hansen's a good brand, as most of their top coats are a quick drying formula. Barry M is also a good version, as well as they have a quick dry top coat polish. Just keep an eye on top coats really, because a lot of them will state if they are a fast drying top coat or not. So just keep your eyes peeled out for any polishes that say fast drying, and definitely add them to your nail art collection, as they are a lifesaver even when it comes to doing other types of nail art than just vinyls alone. But overall, these are the 3 items I find that are the most handy when it comes to making nail vinyls. So when it comes to peeling off the vinyl off its sheet, it's really important to do it with tweezers, as the tweezers can get a better grip off the vinyl, as doing it with your nails, it can be a bit fiddly and it could potentially damage your nails, which we do not want to do. So highly recommend to pull the vinyls off with tweezers. Then at your nails, we spend so long looking after our nails and we would hate to ruin them by doing a stupid thing of pulling off a vinyl off a sheet when you can easily do it with a tweezer. I also find as well the tweezers, you have better control with the tweezers as well when it comes to placing than doing it with your fingers. So what can sometimes happen when it comes to pulling off the vinyl off the sheet? Sometimes the minute negative space stickers can come along with the vinyl, and it's also, as I'm trying to show you, the vinyls I have are pretty good and it doesn't really show the issue I'm trying to talk about. But the kind of negative stickers that have stayed on the sheet, sometimes they come along with the vinyl, and if that happens, the simple trick how to remove the kind of excess stickers from the vinyl is if you just flip the sheet over and if you lightly press the vinyl down and then peel the vinyl off, any of those excess negative space stickers that got stuck on the vinyl should stay on the sheet, and we shall have our perfectly tidy vinyl with none of the negative kind of stickers that stuck to the vinyl. This is also a good technique to use if you find the nail vinyls are too sticky when it comes to placing it on your nail. Some people find the glue they use for the vinyls is too strong, and sometimes it can be quite hard to pull the vinyl off your nail. So if you do find the vinyls you have are quite a strong sticky vinyl, then just lightly press it onto the back of the sheet just to remove any of the excess stickiness, and will just make the vinyls a lot easier to pull off your nail if you find the glue they have used is a very stronger type of glue. So when it comes to applying your vinyl onto your nails, it's really important that you do it whilst your nails are completely dry. Don't do it whilst your nails are wet, as the vinyl is going to stick to the wet nail polish and then your manicure will be ruined and you're going to have to start again. So highly important to have your nails dry when you place the vinyl on your nail. And this is why a quick dry top coat is really important, as it just speeds up the drying process so much faster, because you could get away with doing the design without a quick dry top coat, but you'd pretty much have to leave your nails dry overnight and then place the vinyls on in the morning. But no one's got time for that, and we want to get our design done within a couple of hours, then within a 24 to 48 hour window. So we got to do this in a quicker time frame. So I'm just going to show you the difference between using a quick dry top coat and using a regular top coat, because it's really important you make sure the top coat is a quick drying top coat. So paint your nails like normal, but when it comes to the layer when you're going to add the vinyl, you want to apply your quick dry top coat on top. Leave it for a few minutes until your nail is completely dry. So how a quick top coat works, it dries the surface level of your nail, because there's times where if you've applied quite a few layers of nail polish on your nail, the layers underneath the top coat can take longer to dry. So by adding a quick dry top coat, it completely dries the surface level, whilst maybe some of the polish underneath is still a little bit tacky, or it's just taking a little bit longer to dry. So if you did place anything on top of your nail, it shouldn't damage the top surface area, even if any polish underneath is still a little bit wet or tacky. Because as you can see here, I've applied a quick dry top coat. The polish underneath is still a little bit wet, but because the top coat has dried, if I do place my vinyl on it, it doesn't pull any of the nail polish away. You can see it's slightly indenting the polish, and that's just because the polish underneath is wet. Personally, I would probably let my nails dry a little bit longer before I place a vinyl down, but you probably could get away with placing a vinyl and not ruining the polish underneath. And to be honest, that's what I did. I gave it a go and the vinyl still came out perfectly, even though the polish underneath wasn't completely dry, but the quick dry top coat was completely dry, so my vinyl was safe and the results came out pretty good. So the design is slightly crinkled due to the polish underneath not being completely dry, but to be honest, once you add a glossy top coat, any kind of crinkling or slight dents soon get smoothed out once you've added a glossy top coat on top. So I've also done a version letting the polish dry completely whilst also having the quick dry top coat, and our maple leaf has turned out pretty good. And I just really wanted to show, you could get away with using the quick dry top coat even if the polish underneath wasn't completely dry, but I would highly recommend to make sure all the polish is dry before you place your vinyl, since you do get a better end result once everything is all dry. But if you're in a time crunch, you could get away with it. Really, the key to nail vinyls is the drier your nails are when it comes to placing the vinyl, the better the appearance of the nail vinyls will look on your nails. And most importantly, just stay away from regular top coats. They are just not worth the risk when it comes to using nail vinyls, since they never dry completely. They either take forever to dry. To be honest, if you were going to use a regular top coat, I would say the only way you can get away with placing a vinyl on top is you need to let it dry overnight or for a good couple of hours, because if you try to wait 10 minutes like I did here, the nail polish is still wet, and when it comes to placing the nail vinyl, the polish is just going to stick to the vinyl, pull all the polish off your nail, and you're just going to have to start again. It can become a quite gloopy and horrendous mess. It's just not worth it, especially where a quick dry top coat is pretty easy to find. You can find it in most makeup shops, you can find it in drugstores, in the chemist, in Boots, so it is a pretty easy polish to find, and I just highly recommend to add quick dry top coats to your nail art collection, as they are a lifesaver polish. You don't really need to use them for vinyls as well. Like if you just wanted to use it as a regular top coat, they work just as well or even better as a normal top coat. So really, at the end of the day, with all of our final results, it's really better to wait for everything to be completely dry and to add a quick dry top coat on top. As you can see with the other ones, the one on the right, if you were in a hurry and you've added a quick dry top coat and that has completely dry, but the polish underneath is still not completely set, you can get away with using the vinyls. They just won't look as great as if you waited for it to dry completely. And to be honest, just avoid using a regular top coat. It's just not worth the risk. The only way you could get away with using a regular top coat, or not even using a top coat at all, is letting the polish dry completely overnight and then placing the vinyls the next day. But no one's got time for that, so really worth to add a quick dry top coat into your nail polish collection. Now when it comes to placing the vinyl on your nail, depending on the design of the vinyl, I always find for the square ones I like to just cut the sides a little bit, just so when it comes to placing the vinyl it's a bit more flexible and will adapt to the curve of my nails. The vinyls you have, if they're non-square ones, then they should be alright just to place on your nail, but whatever type of vinyl you have, just kind of look at the vinyl and think, will it curve nicely to my nail? If it doesn't, then I recommend just to kind of cut the sides a little bit, just so it bends and adapts more to your nail. But when it comes to placing the vinyl, you want to place it into the center of your nail, and then with your finger or with your tweezers, you're just going to press the center down and then lightly press the curves down, making sure it adapts to the curves of your nail. If you happen to find any excess vinyl hanging from the end of your nail, you can either grab your tiny scissors and cut the excess off, or you can just push the excess underneath your nail, whichever preference you find easier to do. Now, depending on how messy you think you're going to be, you can always apply some liquid latex around your cuticle area just to be safe. Now, when it comes to applying the polish on top of the vinyl, I actually find you get a much better result with applying the polish onto a makeup sponge and then dabbing the polish on top of the vinyl, rather than just applying the polish straight from the nail polish bottle. And I think it's just because the makeup sponge spreads all the polish out nice and evenly, where when you're applying the polish from the brush, the polish comes out in uneven levels, so more polish might fall into one side of the nail than not the other, and if there's any gaps in the vinyl, there's an increased chance of the polish leaking underneath the vinyl. So I highly recommend to apply the polish from a makeup sponge, just because it applies it a lot more evenly compared from the brush. You can still do it from the brush if you want to, but I just think you just get much clearer lines at the end result. When I apply the polish through the brush than a makeup sponge, the lines never seem completely straight, they just seem slightly off. They're not the straightest lines you could get, and I also find I have to do a lot more kind of touching up work with a dotting tool just to make the lines a lot more straighter, and just looking a lot more what the vinyl looks like on the vinyl itself. So you can still do it with the paintbrush, but I just think you have to do a lot more touching up, and the lines are never completely straight. Like just comparing these two nails together, where one was done through the makeup sponge and one was done through the brush itself, I think you can just see a huge difference on kind of clearness and quality of the design from the different methods. Now the final thing I want to show when it comes to using vinyls is when it comes to pulling off the vinyl off your nail is you want to pull the vinyl off whilst the polish is still wet, as if you pull the vinyl off whilst the polish is dry, then the results won't be as clear and as effective if you did it when the polish was wet. As you can see here, I have 4 vinyl stripes on this nail, and the first 2 I pull the vinyls off whilst the polish is still wet. As you can see, we've got some really nice clear lines, and then the other 2 I've pulled off when the polish is completely dry, and as you can see the lines aren't as clear. So really, to get the most effective appearance out of your vinyls is you want to pull the vinyls off whilst they are wet, as the lines will be a lot more clearer and they will stand out a lot more rather than letting the polish dry. When it comes to pulling the vinyl off, you're actually tearing the polish in between the vinyl and the nail, and that's kind of why you get that kind of not clear straight line. And it's really important just to pull it off whilst it's wet to get those nice straight, clean and tidy lines, and we don't have kind of zigzaggy lines, and the lines just don't stand out as nice as they would have if you pulled it off when it was wet. And that's pretty much everything into today's video. If you follow those steps, you should have no problem with using vinyls. But at the end of the day, guys, if you do follow all those steps and you're still struggling, then you could always stamp the design onto your nails instead. But that's everything for today's video. If you found this video useful, then please leave it a like. If there's any other nail techniques you guys aren't sure about and you want to learn more, then leave a comment down below and I will make a tutorial about it, as I'm pretty good with most different types of nail art techniques, and I'm more than happy to go into a full tutorial for you guys. But yeah, let me know how you're doing as well today, as I always like reading all your comments, and I do plan on doing some more longer videos as well for the future. So any ideas you want to see, then just let me know in the comments and I'm more than happy to give it a go. But just remember guys, keep being awesome, keep being amazing, and I'll see you in the next nail art video. Bye!